Cool. So module one, this is about assessment. This is about, is your business really fit for business today? Looking inside. And if you were to sit down with your top team, or maybe you were going to talk with somebody that is an advisor on the outside of your business, what do you think of our business? I mean, it's a great question to ask, but it's quite a big question. So maybe I'd like to start in the first place, and you can see the slide, and on the slide there are these three arrows. The red arrow, you can see within it are lots of little arrows pointing in different directions. The amber arrow, most of the arrows are pointing north, but some a little bit northeast and some a little bit northwest. And when you get the green arrow represents a mystical company that doesn't really exist, where all the arrows are pointing perfectly in the same direction. And these arrows are just literally a metaphor for the actions, the motives, the behaviors of the people in the business, maybe their polarity to what the market wants. So in a red example, you can see that some people in the same business are literally working against each other. And as a customer of a business like that, you get awful customer service. If you're the owner of a business like that, you get awful growth. You get a lot of staff turnover, customer turnover. It's not a happy day. And I'm not suggesting anybody tuning in would be in that category. But if we now look at that and we've got the numbers 1 to 5, a great way to ask your circle of influence, your employees, your colleagues on the leadership team or external parties, how do you see this company? Get them to point somewhere on that continuum between 1 and 5. And then ask them, well, what's different? What do you see that I don't see? It's an amazing way of opening up the conversation, but it's not a very sophisticated tool. So I guess part one of the process about analysing isn't the big picture. How are we overall? Because I can't really do much with that. If you were to say, Sean, your business is a 3, it's kind of okay. That doesn't really help me work out what I need to do differently to make it a 4 or a 5. And my leadership team needs a plan where we're completely agreed. These are the things we're going to do this year to get better, to get more people aligned, to get faster growth, to get better growth, to get better customer service. So if you were to ask your colleagues, what would you find in a great business? I wonder what you'd say. I'm pretty certain you'd say, great people. You'd probably say great sales. You might say great profit. This is a video, so I'm talking at you, but you could pause right now. You could write down that list of things that you'll find in a great business. Why am I asking you to do that? There's a model by Cranfield Business School, and actually part of this workshop, we've got these 7 cards with each of the 7 things on, and you can see the 7 candles slide. But there are 7 things your business needs to be absolutely great at to have a fantastic business. And so actually, here's a great exercise. What we're going to do is we're going to take each of those candles and we're going to look at it and say, how well do we do proposition and marketing? How well do we do finance and administration? We're going to take these 7 candles one by one, and the way the cards work, we've kind of got a superlative statement. And on that superlative statement, it would say what 10 out of 10. Well, actually, we've done it. What 9 out of 9 looks like. What is the best you can be? And on that basis, you can score yourself. So under leadership and strategy, it might say the business is led by a unified team, 100% aligned and working towards a clear goal, underpinned by a credible strategy and an action plan. The whole company is clear on where we're going, how we're going to get there, how have great faith in the leadership team. So that to me is what a really high score would be. So here's your job. Your job is to look at those 7 different candles and those 7 cards and give yourself a rating. Now, if you're the only person that's worried about strategy in your business, a good place to start is to look at it and say, well, what are these things am I good at? And what are these things is my company not so good at? That's kind of a good approach, because it begins to tease out what do you need to do differently, and it begins to identify those priorities. But doing this in isolation isn't very good. Strategy, you have to look outside as well as inside. So, in the first step, who else could you get to do the 7 cards with you? Maybe there is an auditor or an accountant that comes into the business periodically. You could use your Microsoft Partner Account Manager. You might not think they really know your business very well, but you've got other parties that you can use to help you with this exercise. Frankly, if you just do it amongst your leadership team on their own, it works amazingly well. If you give everybody the same pack of cards, and in our resources you can download those cards, it creates a very stimulating, very focused conversation where one by one we're going to say, okay, well, I think leadership and strategy, we're a 7. But Alex thinks that it's a 6. Well, he's seeing something I don't see. What is that? And by having that conversation, you get a really, really structured conversation to say, okay, what do we need to get better at? Now, we've done this with 3,500 partners over the last handful of years, as I would have mentioned in the introduction. And what's really interesting is across Microsoft partners and a large sample, there are 3 things, 3 candles that are at the bottom of that stack. In terms of, we're not so good at sales, we're not so good at marketing, and we're not so good at talent management. Now, in your business, I'm not accusing you or even suggesting there be the 3 things, but I just wanted to let you know, if you were to discover higher scores for customer satisfaction, leadership and strategy, technical service, quality of service, these things, that would not be unusual. And so, really, the exercise finishes at this point, but because we know those 3 areas, sales, marketing and talent management, don't do so well, we've got a couple of slides you might want to linger and have a look at, because it might give you some ideas as to what you need to be doing there. So maybe the first one we'll pick on is sales, and it's very simple. If you look at the slide, I got, and you want to do it as a build here. What you're going to say is, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is less and 10 is more, how critical is sales in your business? Pretty certain you're going to be saying, it's a 10, Sean. We need sales more than anything else. Sales is critical. Fantastic. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is less and 10 is more, how hard is it winning good quality new business in your business? Wonder what the number is. I don't think you're going to say 10. I don't think it's that hard. I don't think it's as hard to win quality new business as it is critical. I don't think that's often the case. But most people have told us over time that it's a 7 or an 8. It's not that easy winning high quality business, new business in particular. Interesting. So the third and final question, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is less and 10 is more, how much time is your business spending deliberately getting better and better and better at winning new business, developing your salespeople, working out where to find new business? We often find when we ask that question, actually it's a really low number. Actually developing skills in our business, that could be a 1 or a 2. We often tell them what our product does, but we don't tell them how to win new business. So if you on that scale had a big first score and a big second score and a low third score, maybe it's a priority for you to do something about developing those sales skills. And maybe you haven't got the resources inside the company to do it. Look, this video isn't about solutions. I'm sorry. I'm just helping you look for trouble to identify those priorities. Let's maybe move on to marketing. And we're going to tell you about a resource, TED Talks. Maybe you already go and look at TED Talks, but if you're going to do a team build with your top team or an offsite strategy session with your top team, you'll get a lot of fantastic ideas out of TED Talks. And I want you to go look at Simon Sinek. And with Simon Sinek, I'm just going to show you this slide here that is really, really summarizing why it's important to get the message right. And before you do this, I wonder if you know the purpose of your business. If you're stuck in an elevator with me and you're going to sell to me, what would you say is the purpose of your business? What is your elevator pitch? Maybe you'd write it down. And you could ask your team, write down, what is the purpose of our business? And if some bright guy says to make money, look, maybe that is, but that's not what you're going to say to customers. And you're not going to make money unless you deliver value to customers. So get them to write down, what is the purpose of our business from a customer standpoint? And listen to what they say. They might say something like this. They say, we're a Microsoft hosting partner. We host desktop and server solutions, and we help customers reduce IT and increase uptime. It might be something like that. That's kind of what we do. That might be the purpose of our business. Some of your people might come out with a how statement. They might say, we're the #1 hosting partner in the UK. I mean, whether it's true, that's for you to say. But they might say, we're the #1, we're the best, we got the biggest data center, whatever. It's how we do it, not what we do. But it'd be interesting. I wonder if many people say why. And why we help companies grow. We help companies get competitive advantage through IT. So if you met somebody in an elevator and said, are you getting competitive advantage through IT? A lot of people would say, not so much. You've got a good conversation to have with them. If you're in an elevator and you come out with a what, we offer hosted solutions. If they don't know what a hosted solution is or couldn't care less what one is, they're keen to get out the lift. So that's a little bit about sales. That's a little bit about marketing. I want to talk a little bit about people, which is an interesting thing. Mostly you'd accept that in our business, people are our number one asset. So I want to dwell a little bit about the number one asset. And the first question I want to ask you is, looking at it like this, if I came into your business today and I asked your people, are your employers, does your boss, does this company treat you like its number one asset? What would they say? If I were to ask the same employee, is this company getting the best out of you? What would they say? It's a great question to ask. Maybe you just go and do that. But if I look at it the other way around, if I'm looking at it from a leadership standpoint, a management standpoint, I can think in any business there are 5 categories of employee. And again, I'm going to refer to the slide on this one. And what are these 5 categories? Well, you've got people that are let's say underperformers. They're kind of down here somewhere. You've got people that are average. They're a little bit better. You've got people that are good. You've got people that are great, and you've got people that are absolutely exceptional. You've got these kind of 5 strata. And I'm asking you, what's happened or what is happening to underperformers? I'm hoping they don't exist. I hope you've got no underperformers in your business, because in this day and age, we haven't got time for that. That's going to be impeding our growth. But it's amazing how many people, when you ask that question, think, well, maybe we kind of have. Which is a dumb thought if it's your business, I'm sorry to say. But okay, so what we'd say is happening to underperformers? They've gone. What's happening to average people? Well, what bright business people tell me is, if they ain't gone, they're going soon. And that's the way, because average is not good enough in this day and age. What would you say is happening to good people? Maybe it's good to have good people. Well, actually, they're only safe for a while, is my view. They're only safe for a while because good in a competitive marketplace doesn't feel very useful to me. What you really want is you want some great people. And if you've got great people, what might those great people have? They might have options. They might have career options with you or outside your business. So, you're then asking yourself, okay, Sean, so options are fantastic. What's better than that? What would the exceptional people have? Well, the exceptional people, they're in demand, they're chased, so they have choice, which is the biggest thing of all. So wouldn't you want a company with just exceptional people? And it's a scary thought. And there's a lovely saying, heck, if we go and develop all our people and help them be exceptional and they're in demand, they might all go somewhere else. I'm not sure I want to do that. And you could imagine a scenario where 2 board directors saying, yeah, we're going to develop our people and they're going to go. But the other guy might say, yeah, but my scare is if I don't develop them and they stay. You can't have underperformers or average people or even good people in your business in this day and age. If you want your company to be in demand, you have to have in-demand people. So, we've covered just a few pokes there. Something about sales. Are you really developing sales muscle? Or are you just learning lots of ways not to sell new business successfully? Does your marketing cater for the why? If you're selling what, you'll only find people buy if they know that they already need it. And if they already know they need it, there's not so much margin in that because they're shopping around. Why makes more money? And on people, I hope I've just talked some common sense there. You've got to behave like your customers, like your people, like your people are your number one asset. And you'll only know if you're behaving that way if you ask them. Thank you. So one fantastic thing is the UK government's initiatives to help businesses grow. If your business has less than 250 staff and less than 40 million revenue in turnover, you're eligible for grants to help with the exact type of work that we're talking about here. So be sure to check out Growth Accelerator at Microsoft.com, where there's a ton of resource telling you how you can get hands on that funding and how it can help you drive your business forward.